Look at me trying to be ridiculously on time. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to You, Me, and Mr. Coffee. It is Monday, June 1st, and it is the first day of summer. We can officially say it. For me, June 1st is at least the first day of summer. And we have a full house of topics today. Horror movie breaks records, a rocket that blew up still making waves. The NBA Finals are set, and the Bear is ending. House of Dragons is coming back, and somewhere out there, Drake is probably dropping a fourth album. But what we're gonna do is grab up our cup of coffee, and we're gonna enjoy some of this content. I got a real fresh cup to enjoy. Hopefully you do too. If you're in your car sipping, be careful. Remember to yourself that it is hot, the freeway is jammed, and you are not invincible, and it will hurt. So I hope you guys are having a great morning as much as I am. I woke up really groggy today, to be honest. It took a lot to drag me out of bed this morning, but like we all do, we all get up, we enjoy putting one foot inside the pants and then going, why are we wearing pants? You look at the cloth and you're like, I understand what it covers, but this is the most funny looking garment that we have to own is a pair of pants. Like, if you actually look down a pair of pants as you're putting them on, it's just, you look at yourself and go, this is where I'm at in life, putting this thing on. But if we don't put on a pair of pants, when we go out in public, they tend to, well, not here in California. Out here in California, they just call you a vagrant and just kind of wiggle on past you. Like, you're just that kind of weirdo. Silly stuff. Lots of things that we did during the weekend. Working and plugging hard at that website and trying to get the member site up. What we had to do is we had to leave it into Base 44's hands, just to give a little bit of an update on why the website is still stuck in the way it is. I mean, we were supposed to have our Kickstarter today and start a bunch of different things, and I'm having to push the seed funding all the way to the 15th. Hopefully I hear something by the end of this show and I'm able to kind of get things launched in the right direction. But the website's still pretty decent. What I've been doing is actually, like, while I'm waiting, I'm like tweaking some of it, trying to get that ready. Having to get the I figure while I'm waiting, I can try to figure out how to get the Discord chat feed to get that ported in. So there was a good amount of things that I was able to kind of put my head towards during the weekend while I'm waiting for a response, but response nevertheless, I have to wait for. But I really do feel like last weekend was just that kind of weekend for everybody. I hope it was, a good one for you guys. Let me know in the comments below or in the chat, because we are live. If you didn't know, this is not a recording. But yeah. So, one of the big viral things, I'll talk about it. It's actually been huge on social media, that people not understanding why you smash your face in cake. Like, it's not one, it's not safe because they use little spikes. If you didn't know this, they use little stakes inside cake to keep the cake from like falling apart, and people are getting like their head smashed into these things. It's nuts. So that's one of the things that have been going viral on mine. The other one is like people getting ticked off. Like it's a bunch of like ticked off over friends just being mean. And it's just like, well, there's no reason to be mean at all. And then, of course, my algorithm just says, "Oh, you're a male, and you must want to watch this." And it's like, no, not at all. I'm actually looking at something pretty adorable where a father is obviously a masoner. And he is making a peanut butter sandwich on toast, or just peanut butter toast, Nutella toast, for their daughter, and that nibble at the end. That's funny. This brings up a good segue into doom scrolling is a thing, and you shouldn't do that, especially on a live stream. Whoops. Man, that coffee is good. I hope you guys are enjoying your cup of joe. Oh man, should we get into it? At least a few of the things that has happened during the weekend. Before I start on anything, I got to watch a couple of episodes. I didn't go through the whole thing, but I got to watch the first episode, and I got to watch a little bit of the second episode before I had to get back to work, of Spider-Man Noir. And I am telling you that we have been missing out on this, and you need to go watch it. It is now my new favorite show. Nicolas Cage is absolutely awesome in this. Amazon did it right. And the people of this production, let me first start with the fact that you can go from colored and black and white anytime throughout the show and it not be disorienting or jarring. I'm hoping that they come out with episodes that have a little bit of the both going on too, like how they had like in Sin City, but really, oh, man. And Nicolas Cage is great in this. His voice is perfect for a noir. Perfect. Honestly, like, it is, I can't say it enough. It's the new biggest hit, and it needs to stay the biggest hit, and it needs to have all the attention that it could possibly have. If you have not watched Spider-Man Noir, whether you are a fan of the superhero industry or not, still give it a good look. Like, it's really, really good. I've enjoyed it. And, you know, the character of Spider-Man, if you are a person who understands the Spider-Man and his quirks and his quips, and Spider-Man Noir is still on the par for everything. And I don't know, it scratched an itch that I didn't even know I had. I was like, whoa, right there on the shoulder. I didn't know you were there, like, itch. Thank you, Spider-Man Noir, for scratching it. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. So we're going to talk about space and business for this hour. And remember, last Friday that we were talking about that just in those moments in the last 12 hours when we were starting the show, Blue Origin had a whoops on the pad and had one of the most epic explosions that we have yet to see on any pad in a long time, and a massive amount of damage that was caused. And then just to pour salt in the wound, we had SpaceX, who just launched casually a few launchers down the road. It was like, yeah, bruh, get on my level. It was amazing. And not only that, Blue Origin lost 48 satellites. It is a big catastrophe. The New Glenn explosion last Thursday is still sending shockwaves. Space industry analysts are now saying it's worsened what already a constrained launch market globally. The launch pad is damaged, the rocket is grounded indefinitely, and Blue Origin was supposed to be a serious SpaceX contender or competitor. Right now, that's in serious question. Blue Origin has been trying to catch SpaceX for years, but SpaceX responds to Blue Origin explosion by launching more rockets. I mean, that tells you everything that you need to know about both of those companies, especially SpaceX. Whether you like Elon or not, put the billionaire aside and look at the company as is and what they do. Hands down, SpaceX is serious about their efforts moving into space. They do have mistakes, but are capable of learning from them. They're not chasing a tail because they are in the lead. Now, sometimes it's not good to be in the lead. It's good to have somebody that you can kind of see make mistakes and learn from their errors as well. But it seems like they have the greatest peripheral by seeing every bit of their competitor having those mistakes that they can learn from and never have to be in last place. SpaceX is really wanting to deliver a rocket and a rocket purpose that leaves us not on this rock anymore. They want to be the vessel of choice that takes us into the stars and beyond. So with Blue Origin showing their true colors of rapid deployment and unsafe behavior, may not even see an ability to lift off anytime soon as a reliable product. Maybe. Or with this big catastrophe, does our billionaire from Amazon, Jeff Bezos, does he actually take this and really crack down hard and make New Glenn better, stronger, faster, without chasing SpaceX? Another side that I want to talk about on this is like, it really shouldn't be like this, especially for space travel. I really do not like commercialism in space. It really doesn't look good when you have a company who's fighting to get notoriety at the same level as number one and blows up an entire pad doing it. It is very clear that New Glenn, Blue Origin, from, just Blue Origin, is just trying to outdo SpaceX instead of actually building something of quality. And that's part of capitalism. capitalism is like that. I've got to be better than this guy instead of I've got to be of quality, especially when it's dealing with people's lives, when it deals with astronauts' lives, when it's dealing with astronauts' lives in the most dangerous of place that we can go to, because we can't survive in space. We know this. We're trying to build survivability in space, but we can't do it yet, and it scares people whenever they see an entire rocket blow up on the pad. Is capitalism, that's the biggest question, is capitalism really the place that it should be in space related activities, or should it remain a not organic but a sterile environment where agencies are built, not companies are built? I would like for your hot take on it. Is it something that we could actually, communicate over, or is this even a topic that may never see like real change to, or at least in our lifetime? Now, NASA's moon base plans have just gotten complicated. A company called Helio is moving to fill the gap, targeting growing lunar infrastructure demand as NASA pushes forward on a permanent moon base under the Artemis program. But with Blue Origin out of commission and NASA's depending on them for certain missions, the moon timeline just got murkier. We're talking about a permanent human installation on the moon. Not a visit, a base of operations that actually has functionality to it, where we are really mining for usable resources. Usable resources that we really can't find here, or we can't find in great supply here, without it being detrimental to our own human needs and environmental needs, because consumption on our planet is not good. We can consume all we want, but if we're not putting it back out into the world as it needs to, and thus putting the great circle of, the water cycle or any type of cycle, and the world starts to die around us. And so as we consume what our planet provides, it starts to get a little bit harder for that stuff to come back. Well, if we start getting resources from the moon and beyond, we start terraforming places that are beyond our scope of understanding of why they're even dead or desolate inside the Goldilocks zone, or the golden area, or the green zone. And people go, well, why go to Mars? Why go to Mars? Especially like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Why go to Mars? Stay here. Learn how to better our own planet. And it's like, with an environment like Mars, if you're able to get whatever you're able to do, won't be detrimental to the human race. If you're able to just do whatever on a planet, because it's not going to harm anything, there's nothing living on it as far as we know. There'll be like a huge excavation planned on Mars before any terraforming will go in place to ensure that there is nothing bad gonna happen. But I mean, you don't have to risk people's lives. You get to take big risks and learn from them, and then see actual results. And it was one of the things that I think was being conveyed in The Martian with our friend, he's not my friend, my favorite actor, one of my favorite actors, Matt Damon. Man, wouldn't that be cool if he was a friend? He's more like a a tad figure, though, like his age compared to mine. But yeah, I think it was like being conveyed. Like, if we could take risks and not make those risks happen in negative effect on here, where it would be irreversible, because an irreversible thing here doesn't mean it would be irreversible on another planet. It would just mean I can't make this any worse or we'll all die, kind of thing. So that's the biggest part of it. Going to the moon, going to that South Pole, finding that water resource, and then building the helix or the gateway, and building a vehicle construction out there, a vessel construction out there, lessens the amount of time of lifting from the ground into space. It is like the perfect launching point when we need to go to Mars and beyond, when we want to launch something to Io. A lot of people are super focused on Mars, but Io is just close by. Like, it's not really all that far away in comparison. We can make it to Io with just in a couple of years. At max 7 years, depending on when we launch. Io. That's crazy. It's just, I think it's Io. Is it Io that's outside of Jupiter? I'm gonna check myself real quick. No, I was right. Io. Near Jupiter. One of the most interesting moons that we could, ever visit. And the way to do that is to be able to have a good launching point, like on the moon, and build a moon base and start colonizing the moon. The moon's right there. It's been there for the longest time. And if we can figure out how to get from here to there. Now, are we going to be able to terraform the moon? No. Even though it's in the Goldilocks zone, the Earth will always consume it, and in all the wrong ways. I at least that's what I've learned, is that we greatly affect the moon's ability to even have an atmosphere. So we consume it. We are the ones with atmosphere. And plus the gravity is too low, the density is too low. Like, it's just not. We took out all the good stuff from that moon that could potentially give it life. So, but it's good though, with that low pressure, that low gravitational pull. We're able to have a better future for ourselves. It's like perfect, right? Like, we got set up with the perfect setup. But I would like for your opinion. Go down below inside the chat or in the comments down below. Let me know. How do you feel about it? SpaceX is eyeing 136,000 acres of Louisiana marshland. Reports are swirling that SpaceX is looking at a massive, it's like a tract of land of 136,000 acres of coastal Louisiana marshland for a new aerospace development. Hunters, residents, and environmental groups are already raising concerns about losing generational land. Nothing's confirmed, but when SpaceX starts circling land, things move fast. Elon Musk already has Texas, Florida, and space itself, now potentially Louisiana Bayou. I mean, The infrastructure makes sense. The location makes sense. If we're worried about hunting land, I don't know about gator life making it big, but if there's other wildlife that we do big game, or we have good game there that is beneficial and it's not like just area dependent. Residents I could understand. Here goes the neighborhood kind of thing. But yeah, that's a lot of acres of land though, of marshland. But we saw what they did with Boca Chica. Hawthorne. How they pretty much taken over Vandenberg. and using Vandenberg. And, using the launch pads at NASA. In Cape Canaveral. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. It'll be interesting to see where real estate comes into play come the 2030s, to be honest. What would real estate development be like in 2030s? Considering the directions that we're going with, space travel, tech, build. A lot of people these days even are, Gen Alpha is more interested in tech than ever before and have really zero interest on even global sites. Going to see things like the Louvre, Colosseum, and the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I know when I was growing up, these are landmarks that I just dreamed of seeing. The Eiffel Tower. Going to London and seeing Big Ben. Going to these iconic places that my geography teachers kept on talking about. The wonders of the world that you must go see in your lifetime. At least once. One of them. The Great Pyramids of Giza and so forth. A lot of people these days are just going, meh. I don't really care about seeing a bunch of rocks that old ancient people stacked up. Creates something of mystery and intrigue. Didn't you see my 360 no scope on Fortnite? That was a wonder of the world. Are we really losing our culture? That's a good question. Are we losing the Voyager-like culture these days? Just with everything being in our hand, you can literally take Google Map or Google Earth, go pretty much anywhere all over the world and plop yourself down and take a look around and be like, I was in Turkmenistan. People are like, oh, what did you do the weekend? Oh man, I was in Turkmenistan. I was in Tibet. I even walked the streets of Tokyo. How could you do that in an entire weekend? Google Earth. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm not talking it down or anything. I mean, to be able to have the world at your fingertips and be able to explore what most people couldn't have fathomed to explore just even 20 years ago. Get that for a second. 20 years ago. And 20 years ago, I graduated high school, and we didn't have Google Earth. We did have encyclopedias, we did have a Britannica, and we did have Google for a little bit of what it was. And we could look stuff up. We had Wikipedia. We had stuff like that in its infancy that could kind of bring us a little bit closer, but they were just images. We didn't have the ability to pluck ourselves down on a street and actually take a 360 view of something of a wonder of the world, or even a city or a street that no one would have ever thought to look at. I remember just like a few months ago, I was talking to our Aussie friends inside that we had inside the community, and I'm taking, you know, step by step in their streets and seeing their world and seeing how it is in Australia. And they're showing me different things that they do and go and places that they visited and had a great time. And I was sitting in the comfort of my own chair. I had about an 80-minute trip in Australia and never left my chair. But at the same time, with prices the way they are, with flights the way they are, it's kind of hard to be able to get into that. If you could go somewhere in the world today, where would you go? That's a good question. Like, if you're watching this now, think about it for a second. Like, if you could go right now to some place, where would it go? Where would you go? And for me, I am in this huge, you know, Central America, North, South America, the northern part of it, like where Ecuador is, and Guatemala and Honduras, all of these different places, right? El Salvador, Panama. And just, I've always had a fascination when I was a young kid about the Mayans, the Incans, and all of these indigenous tribes that were in this area that lived in probably the most dangerous area of the Americas in this hemisphere. And then how they thrived down in Venezuela, down to Peru, you know, all of these places have just been a fascination. This has kind of been an interest of mine within the past, you know, 10 to 15 days. And I've gone on like a little trip. Like, what actually I would like to do a shout out. There's a couple of channels on YouTube that I would say that I would suggest to go also to see. Actually get their names. This is an impromptu. It's not even on my script. I have to kind of actually look them up. Oh no, Casper Site's PC just popped. That's not good. Casper Site's one of my favorite ones. Shout out to Casper Site. If you're into the spooky wookie, that is what he says. The ghosty woasties. But yeah, like you gotta, he's hilarious, especially when you're watching things that are, you know, people want to believe that there's spirits there, and there's obviously string. But I'm looking to see he's got a see, this is what I'm saying. Like, I think we should do, like, we should have like a little window that can pop up to see what we can react to at times. Like, kind of take a break of the news and get like a little hot take on what's going on around in the YouTubers. In my YouTubers. I got actually like a couple of people. I would say this: get into our Discord. We have the cool as and the funny as and the cute as, and it's where people like post their YouTube shorts that they're watching that they find funny, cute, or cool, and or creepy. and they post them there, and you'll be able to see kind of a lot of what we're actually watching these days, and who are watching, like whether it's this Italian and this Italian woman who does YouTube shorts where it shows how she she really enjoys cooking and culinary art, and she provides it in a funny, quirky way where it's like the husband doesn't say it doesn't say the actual name of it correctly. I'll get that name real quick. Hold on a second. I need to, before I get over to, I want to mute those tabs. But I'm also watching Viva the Dirt League. Sylvia. I think everybody's been watching Sylvia. She's like an Italian artist, YouTuber that has a comedian that has like quips about, like, she's like talking to herself back and forth. It's pretty funny. Let's see. So let's see. So Carissa Stevens, at Carissa Stevens. Her content's really great. If you like food, if you're a foodie like me, you get to see like how much she actually loves culinary art, and you get to, if you do watch, you can watch all of what she does. You can get pretty much the recipe and the know-how of creating whatever she's creating and make it. She goes step by step through the entire process. I mean, I would check her out if I were you. If you're a foodie. I'll look at this a little bit later. But a couple other people that I'm watching. Oh, I still need to watch Paranormal Nightmare TV from last Friday. I kind of missed it. But a person I've been recently watching is this Justin Alvo. He's in Ecuador. He is in the Shuar tribe through his now wife. That he met when he was going down there and just doing, like, visiting his home country of Ecuador, and returning down there, and then just like filming the Amazon, trying to put it on YouTube. Met his wife. They've hit it off. They've had a great time, and they both make content. And they're having the time of their life, and they're really making it. They just pushed over 100,000 viewers, or 100,000 subscribers. They're doing great. They're doing fantastic. If you have any, if you want to watch them, that's a good one to watch. And it's cultural, and you get to learn about an Amazonian tribe called the Shuar tribe. That was really cool, like out of randomness. Now, Justin is a bit of an acquired taste. He's not always someone, you can tell he's a bit of a sociopath, but he comes in a good place. He's just trying to get clicks at sometimes. He's following the trends a little bit, but he's trying to bring the attention to the Ecuadorian landscape and the Shuar tribe and his pride in it all, and his wife. Like, you could tell how much he actually loves his wife, and that's the fantastic part of it, of really including her in everything that they're doing and what they're doing together, and how they're living their life together, and how they're setting up their life for their new child, and how he's getting ready for the 9 others that he's gonna have with her. So it's hilarious. It's fun. If anything, look him up. Justin Alvo. Sorry about that. Justin Alvo. That's ALVO. Justin. Look him up and watch some of his stuff. Give him a subscribe. He's really worth it. I say. And then also the Carissa Stevens, look her up. She's amazing. And then I was also talking about Sylvia. Mute at she's got a thing called AI laugh at my own jokes. At that for Sylvia, but I think her main channel is I don't think, is that her main channel now? I thought it was at Sylvia, but it might be. I mean, 4.3 million subscribers, so it has to be her. So it has to be so at AI laugh at my own jokes. Go to that. Check out Sylvia. She's funny. AF. Man. But yeah, I guess Casper Site at Casper Site has he says his PC went pop, so that's gonna put him out of commission for a little bit. Is that new or is that old? Sometimes this happens. Nope, that was 23 hours ago. That's new. That's tracking. Oh, that's unfortunate. And then, of course, Carissa Stevens. Check her out. That is a great channel. Oh, and before I move on, two great channels. One, a veteran that I absolutely respect. He was and I mentioned him during our first episode. He is an enlisted Marine who went officer and is now like doing full-time reporting. I feel like, and among other things, in his shows, and he's doing fantastic on YouTube. And it's Kagan Dunlap at Kagan Dunlap. He's really great. If anybody has veteran views that I respect and appreciate, Kagan Dunlap. He's a good person to keep your eye on and have inside of your peripherals. And then the other one is a main.
I'm building a brand new boat
for
lobster fishing.
No. Didn't mean to do that. But he's a Maine lobster fisherman, and I've been learning a lot about lobster fishing. Insane. I have always wanted to know, ever since my first time of ever being in Red Lobster and seeing the lobsters in there, to even, I think it was it Myers or was it Kroger's? I don't remember which store used to have live lobsters that you could buy in a tank. That's rare these days. But yeah. I remember there was a store that we used to go to that had live lobsters sitting in the tank. And I would get bored, and I know it was a place that my dad was merchandising, that he was putting up, stocking the shelves with the product that he had. And I would sit there and be staring at the lobsters while he's doing it. Bored. So there's Myers. Okay. Yeah, like that's a big deal. I wonder too, have you been to Myers lately? Do they still have that? But still, Jacob Knowles. So that's at Jacob KNOWLES 5421. Go check him out. He's making a new shrimp boat that you kind of like heard for a second there in a snippet. But he's great. He's got great things about him and his kids. He's a great father. He's a great husband. He's doing great things in the fishing industry. He's a 5th generation shrimp fisherman, and it's really exciting to see that kind of aspect as a little short snippet out of your day, because he's got great shorts and he's got great long videos, but his shorts, perfect, and you learn something, and you're excited to see how he treats the environment in which he works in. Great work ethic. He's a really great guy. I suggest you to go check him out. But if you do come to our community and Discord, and soon on also you will see that we'll have it on the website once Base 44 gets back with me, and I can then finally publish the website in a way it's supposed to. You know, you're going to be able to like get in tune with this and get in tune with the community, and you know, enjoy the content with other people and be able to have an environment where you get to talk about these things pretty much any time of the day. So
last night for the second day.
No, I muted that channel. Why? Yeah, but that's Kagan.Dunlap. Kagan dot Dunlap, Dunlap. I mean, he's really good. He's a really good person I respect. I'd love to meet him one day and pick his brain and see how he does stuff, and his military career. And I don't think I served whenever he served. I don't know how. If I'm looking at the timeline, I had to have been in the service when he was in the service, but he was. I'm not sure. I think he might have been. Nah, me and him should be about the same age. I feel we're about the same age. So it'd be interesting. I think I would be. I was a sergeant when he was a sergeant before I got out, and then he probably got promoted, like either before me or after me. After I left, but he's really good. And he's talking about in a non. He doesn't take sides. He gives the facts, not what's on, not leaning in any direction, but it gives every fact in front of you for you to form your own opinion. He rarely does he ever like kind of hint towards his own opinions. Rarely. That's kind of like one of those no-brainer kind of things. But that's the veteran mentality. It's like, oh, you form your own opinion. I'm not going to tell you how I feel. But yeah, those are a couple of the people to be kind of looking out for on YouTube Tube. Yeah, Paranormal Nightmare TV is their channel, and I'm not gonna lie, I used to watch them near religiously every Friday when they posted a new video. But ever since I've been on my own projects, I really haven't been able to focus on watching full-length videos on YouTube. So but yeah, like a lot of content that has been going on, especially during the weekend. If you're just tuning in, we've been talking about a couple of different things. We talked about Spider Noir being like my new favorite show, and that you should watch it if you have Amazon Prime. If you don't have Amazon Prime, well, you're just being silly. That's my opinion. but it's because I want you to watch Spider-Man Noir. Period. I'm a little bit into episode 2, and I am dying to watch more. Like, it's such a great movie. It's such a great TV series. It's such a great series. Such a great series. There's a big thing that's happened in business, which is from Honeywell, just split into 2 companies. Effective today, Honeywell officially split into 2 separate entities, Honeywell Technologies and Honeywell Aerospace. This is one of the biggest corporation restructuring of the year, with Honeywell Aerospace's deep in the space and defense supply chain, where Honeywell Technologies is more grounded and more. I know that when I was being in the fire service, we had a lot of Honeywell products in the fire service, so they're worth watching. When we're talking about all this space race stuff and commercialism within space racing. Honeywell's wanting to get in a little piece in it. There's a lot of companies that are getting a piece of it. And even myself, I would love to get in a piece of it. I've got a great idea that I'm not going to spread on live or recorded until I'm able to secure it. But I would love to be able to have my voice heard, or have our show, You, Me, and Mr. Coffee, heard throughout the entire, solar system. That would be fantastic. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of companies that through their restructuring, they all shut down like a bunch of locations just to be able to integrate and maximize it in efficiency. But then it doesn't take long for them to be able to branch out into those areas if they need to. But here's the thing, when it's really hard, because when plants shut down, or factories or manufacturing shuts down in an area, it cuts so many jobs, and it sucks, because there's a lot of people who are waiting for retirement that just on a whim end up not being able to complete the process. But it then turns into an opportunity for a lot of the transport industry to really profit from. And a lot of people don't see it don't really recognize that, because they're only thinking locally instead of globally. And a lot of these companies creating that internal chain, that's something that we've done throughout entire human history, where we branched out to where a resource is possible to reach, and then realize that bringing it back to the river where it flows and where trade flows is the best choice and option to maximize efficiency. And then you get the kind of same thing. That's why you have these major highways that go from the East Coast to the West Coast, north and south, that are just full of industry. A good example of this is the highway that goes north and south that cuts through Chicago down into Clark, into Indiana, and continuing going to south. There's so much industry down on that highway that is huge for infrastructure. Same thing could be said to the highway that cuts through Michigan and in through Ohio and down to Tennessee and Nashville, I think, or Knoxville. I think actually branches both into Nashville and Knoxville, and that's a big vein. And you just see huge amount of industry all the way down the line, starting from Motor City itself, and creating engines and putting it throughout the entire broad U.S. Transportation is like the lifeblood of the United States. So a lot of the business, where it could be in one place, melt into the blood veins that is a vital, creates these vital organs all over the United States. And a cheap option, if you're into business and understanding business, the cheap option to start manufacturing is to have it off the pipeline, because the real estate is cheap. And then whenever you gain enough equity through all your sales, you move your manufacturing to the pipeline for efficiency. And that's a big way that most of these big companies actually collect business. The only unfortunate thing is the local the local wildlife, the local population suffers from it. But business is business, and business must grow regardless of crummies and tummies, We also talked on Friday about Caesar's Palace getting bought, and how it's a $17.6 billion investment in purchasing Caesar's Entertainment and having Caesar's Palace, and everybody going monopoly, 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 like big Tillman Fertitta, I don't know how to say, forget it. This guy, they're gonna start screaming, Home Skillet, you are creating a monopoly. Not fair. I honestly don't think the monopoly should be like an issue. Yeah, no, granted, like a business owner myself, then yeah, monopoly scares the crap out of me, especially in a town that I'm trying to make it in, is the most difficult town you can make it in. But is a monopoly a real big issue whenever it's, that level, billions of dollars level? No. Ain't gonna hurt mom and pop. It had nothing to do with mom and pop. Nicolas Cage's name change is still going viral. It has been on everybody's feed throughout the weekend and last week. And so there's just been a lot of talk about it. If you want to check something out on social media, I would look at that. It's pretty cool to just learn that about Nick Cage. Birthdays today. I added this into the segment. A couple of celebrity birthdays today is Morgan Freeman and Amy Schumer. Believe it or not, Morgan Freeman, 89 years old today and still working. Still getting it in his iconic voice. And then Amy Schumer has been a great actress coming into the industry and comedian coming into the industry. She's had a lot of great acts. What is her recent... I want to make sure I get it right. What's the latest one that she has that has come out? Hello? I don't think it is. It this kind of pregnant? No, there's something newer, right? There's something newer that she got into. Room to Move. I know she was also in, Trolls Band Together. She was in Snatch. She's in a bunch of different shows. Supporting actress and main actress. But yeah, her birthday is today. 45 years of age. Ain't that cool? But 89 years for Morgan Freeman. Man. And the fact that his longevity inside of the industry and in front of camera and cinema, as well as TV, he's part of culture. His voice, his mannerisms, even today, his persona entirely is even seen all the way down to our newest generation that has come around. Congratulations, Morgan Freeman and Amy Schumer, for your birthdays. To see 45 again. Yeah. I don't want to see 45 at the moment. I'm about to kick into 40 next year. I got what? How many months do I got left? It's June 1st now, the beginning of summer. What is it? If we count the month, because it's at the beginning of the month. So what is that? 7 months of this, and then 3 months of the next. So 10 months from now. 10 months. It's a whole year. I'm not that close, but I'm still getting there. 40. And I have like this huge plan to sail the Caribbean to celebrate my 40 years of birth. Hopefully I'll make it. If I don't get to do it on 40, it is going to happen, whether I have to like sneak aboard a ship or something. Wouldn't that be nice to have like you guys along with me as I'm like sneaking aboard a ship, a sailing ship? But yeah, like moving from St. Kitts, I think St. Kitts, or St. Martin, just one of those Nassau, getting around those islands. And the idea is, I've always had a fascination over the, not Pirates of the Caribbean, but like just pirates of the archipelago and Florida and the northern part of South America, Mexico, all that kind of stuff, and to the Gulf. Just all of the different unique stories and how, you know, the free people movement to go to actually Tortuga and the supposed Tortuga and enjoy that kind of stuff in Jamaica and actually get to enjoy that. That's what I want to do for my 40th. I'll definitely be putting a lot on my social media on that travel, as much as I can show. There's some things I'm sure that nobody else wants me to show while I'm on the trip, like getting sick on the trip. Yeah, the Queen Mary would be a fantastic trip. It's right here in Long Beach. Excuse me, phone. Do what I ask you to do, please. It is not opening up that app. Why? Oh, my phone's messed up. Yeah. Go figure. This is weird. My phone is like not working. I don't know what's going on.
My phone is like really going bonkers. I have no idea what's going on with my phone. I have no idea why my phone is acting up. Like everything else. I wonder if I do that, will that fix everything? All right, that fixed everything. I just need to close that app. Nope. That app is about to... Whoa. That's not okay. I figured it out. Sorry to take away from that. I had gotten a message from one of my social media that was locking up my phone. Yeah, that's a big thing nowadays. You got to be careful about is... Yeah. The unfortunate side effect of malware. Yeah. Even on an iOS. But I got it fixed. Didn't even mean to sidetrack on that. What was I doing before? Yeah, I was frozen because the message that was in there had to be deleted in order to get it unfrozen, because it's preventing you from actually deleting their message and then reporting it. So, but I got it all taken care of. It's all good. It's the unfortunate thing of the world these days. What was I doing before I got stuck with that piece of crap? I mean, I literally went to go check something on my phone. That derailed that derailed me. Sorry, and derailed the show a little bit, but It is what it is. Well, what was I doing? I was about to look up something on my social media. Oh, the Queen Mary. Oh, no, I think I was talking about the Queen Mary, and that's when I touched my phone. But yeah, Queen Mary's in Long Beach, and worth the watch. They have seasons in which you can get tickets to go into the Queen Mary, and it is very much a haunted tour trip that a lot of people take. It's worth going to. I used to live right down the road from the beach, which you can see the Queen Mary in full view. So that was a wild beginning to my life here in or reliving of my life here in California, as I got sucked right back in. But all right, let's move on. Let's get into something other than that. We'll talk about the CMA Fest that kicks off in Nashville this week. The CMA Music Festival returns to downtown Nashville Thursday through Sunday. Free music stages all day, every day. One of the biggest country music events of the year. If you're in Nashville this week, you're in for something special. Nashville in June during the CMA Fest is one of the places you have to experience at least once in your life. The whole city becomes a concert. So CMA, free music stages all over. And then of course the CMAs themselves are there. Meet new people, meet friendly people, country music. It's a good reason to visit Tennessee. Or if you were in Tennessee, it would have been good if the timeline had shifted, but I guess not in Tennessee anymore. Another thing is the FIFA World Cup is streaming this month. June is World Cup month, and streaming services are positioning around it hard. The Market Watch called it the biggest competition for streaming eyeballs in June. Soccer is the one, or football is the one sport that genuinely stops the entire planet at once. The World Cup is the only event on Earth where 1 billion people are watching at the same time. The same thing at the same time. That's a scale no Super Bowl or Oscars can touch. And it's the truth. It is the widest viewed or widely viewed sport in the world. I know I'm going to be watching for both Japan and US. I'm going to try to keep up to date and see who between those two countries. They're some of my two favorite countries when it comes to the World Cup. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my ear to the ground, eye to the ceiling, and hopes and praise that hope that we can actually get a win this year. But yeah, that's a lot of things that have been going on within this week, last week and into the weekend. In space, big news and business. But I like to be able to move into movies, TV, and streaming. And one of the biggest things right now from A24, and I think a lot of people are talking about it because it is a 20-year-old director that has literally made $82 million from their movie just this weekend. Backrooms has seriously hit the record mark for a young director and an IP that is still
in its early infancies, really playing into the Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and leaning into a franchise that first started off as a college YouTube video that was or a college project that was put on YouTube. Now is a grossing franchise from video games now into a must-watch movie, opening up this weekend at $82 million before the closing on Sunday. It opened at number 1 domestically and has made over $118 million worldwide. I mean, it's A24, the studio A24's biggest opening ever. The film only cost $10 million. It's not only made its way back, made its money, but at a gross in a weekend that swamps A24's product up to date, and a lot of other productions up to date. I mean, a 20-year-old YouTube kid just out-opened every Marvel movie A24 has ever made. And Gen Z just told Hollywood exactly how to get them in theaters. Give them something they actually care about. It's huge. It's going to be talked about for at least this entire week. We're going to probably cover a little bit more of it on Friday. So make sure that you come back and you get a little bit of taste of how the week has treated this in traditional media. Vanity Fair, how Hollywood Reporter, how the TMZ is going to be reporting about this here in Hollywood, and how they're going to be taking this kind of brunt and blow. A 20-year-old director. That's young. That's young to be directing and making a movie that grosses so much in such a short amount of time. And you got to wonder about the movie that it is itself. What is making Backrooms such a sensation, and why does Gen Z lose their mind over it? Backrooms is an internet creepypasta, illuminal horror concept about endless carpeted office rooms that you can no clip into. It took over YouTube and TikTok. Kane Parsons built his following making Backrooms content, and A24 gave him $10 million to make the movie. It's the most internet native horror film ever made. And I remember actually seeing this when it first was coming out, and I was just like, that's interesting. That captivated my attention for all the short amount of time that it did, but it was like, whoever this person is in short film, they're going to go far. $118 million worldwide. That's insane. This is what happens when Hollywood actually listens to the internet instead of trying to manufacture the internet. Let the culture lead, then fund it. And I think that's where, we're needing things to lead or lean into these days, especially with new studio developments. We don't need to hold on to the greats. We can marvel at them. We can hold them up on a pedestal and treat that as a guiding light. But let these new people come in and enjoy making content that actually meets the viewer who's intending to, consume that media. Moving on, we're going to be talking about Michael Jackson's biopic
closing in now on $800 million globally. Which, by the way, his nephew, Jafar Jackson, plays his own uncle, and it had dedicated his life for over a year trying to master the moves of Michael Jackson just to be able to play his part in his role of his uncle and do him justice and keep that family alive in the industry and really doing MJ justice. And it had closed in the box office this week in 5th. That's already the second highest grossing music biopic of all time. It's still in theaters. This movie will not stop. Jafar Jackson playing his own uncle, the moonwalk, the glove, the whole mythology on the big screen. People keep going back. That's the power of Michael Jackson, even now, past his own life. He exists in extension. That's why he was the king. Look at every king of music to date. Their stuff just lives on because people want to make sure that it lives on. Now, I never seen the show, but it is a show that is critically acclaimed, and it's an FX series that is on Hulu called The Bear, and it is ending its final season this June. If you haven't watched this show, a former fine dining chef taking over his family's Chicago sandwich shop, you're missing the most stressful and beautiful television of the last 5 years, as according to most of the tabloids. The Bear makes you feel the anxiety of a professional kitchen so viscerally that watching it is genuinely exhausting. These are comments, and you cannot stop. It's one of the best shows ever made. These are all quotes that were put out into the industry, out in your tabloids throughout its entirety, and it's coming to its season finale, so it might be one of the ones that I put on my list to watch, to binge watch. I need a new binge watch. That's what needs to happen. I need a new show to binge watch. It just has to happen. It might be The Bear. A House of Dragons Season 3 drops June 22nd. Actually, there's a lot dropping this June. But dropping 22nd, the full trailer just dropped 2 days ago. And it's considered epic across all of social media. Dragons, war, brutal battles. I mean, it's everything that House of Dragon is supposed to provide you with inside of entertainment. And you can find that on HBO Max. I mean, even the trailer itself, I watched the trailer, and it like showcases a full dragon war. We haven't seen that since, like, what is it, Reign of Fire? If I'm wrong, if you know of if you know of another dragon movie that was epic that was past the Reign of Fire, make sure to put down in the comments below, because that one was like the most epic dragon fight. I think I have that right. The Reign of Fire. If I'm wrong, also put down, hey, it wasn't this, it was this. A big thing that I have noticed is a comeback, another comeback. And I've been watching the trailer, and I've been kind of hesitant on whether I want to see it or not, but it's Scary Movie 6. So a lot of the nostalgia makings these days to help these I feel like it's more to help these actors and actresses kind of like get some money later on in life, and that follows a franchise that, you know, obviously we're gonna take in. But tracking Scary Movie 6 at the box office, looking at what it needs to earn to push the franchise past $500 million domestic. This franchise has been dormant over a decade. Someone decided it was time to bring it back. Scary Movie 6 in 2026. I mean, I have like a ton of questions about it. And I mean, I really need all of them answered, and like immediately. And one of them is why. I mean, can we take the lessons learned with, and not dogging anybody, but like Adam Sandler even had to adapt his slapstick comedy that he did on SNL, couldn't really follow him further on in his career. He had to adapt and make films differently, and that were successful, were these heartfelt ones. Can we really bring back something like Scary Movie 6 and be like, oh yeah, that's funny? Can even Gen Z appreciate something like that, or go, that's cringe? Is the movie going to be cringe? Is the movie cringe? What do you guys think? Coming back on a comment here in chat, some of his family members aren't happy about the movie. I know that there was some controversy going on about playing the likeness of him and putting perspective, as well as the money that was being drawn into the movie. Maybe what you're seeing in media is different from what I'm seeing in media too, because out here it's being viewed as like a huge success for Michael Jackson, or the biopic for Michael Jackson. So it's interesting. Good take, you know. If some of the family member isn't happy about it, then that'll definitely cause rifts, especially with how it's later distributed. So that might be something to follow later on. But moving from Scary Movie 6, Steven Spielberg's new sci-fi film, Disclosure Day. This is one I'm actually looking forward to. It takes a bit of... There was an attempt at something like this before, called The Fourth Kind, that I feel like this film is doing a lot better on the perspective of, because The Fourth Kind really didn't make waves, and it really didn't go far. It had a lot of great A-list actors inside of it, but you know, Disclosure Day seems to be, you know, something of a watch this month. And it is a movie. I know it's a movie. It's not a TV series that's gonna creep up on me, but Disclosure Day is definitely one to be keeping your eyes out for. Spielberg has this new sci-fi Disclosure Day in the pipeline. IMDb is already tracking its budget and breaking even numbers. The Spielberg sci-fi event film is a cultural movement. The man who gave us E.T., Close Encounters, and AI is back in the genre.
With Steven Spielberg making sci-fi film in 2026 at 79 years of age, some people just never stop creating. That's the only way to be. It's the way I want to be. I know whenever I stop making entertainment for people, I definitely want to be in my later years. But Disclosure Day is a great sci-fi and a great take on the current feeling of horrors of the potential of such an alien life coming to us and then, you know, taking over our bodies and talking through us. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that say that aliens are talking through them. I mean, as the what was it called, the latest Atlas, 3-eye Atlas that just passed by, there were so many people in the world that were screaming that there was an alien spaceship going by and telling them things, and I'm not saying that they're wrong. It definitely stirred up the pot a little bit, that's for sure. Especially whenever there was a known scientist who was saying, hey, that's not behaving like we've seen asteroids before coming in or comets coming into our solar system. So now to have something like this movie coming out, Disclosure Day, especially in 2026, and it's just not too far away. I think it's on the 12th, right? Disclosure Day. I didn't put it in my notes here. Disclosure Day. I forgot to put it in my notes. June 11th. It's supposed to be June 11th. It'll be coming out. I mean, I'm talking about like some real A-listers are in here. Emily Blunt, Colin Firth, Coleman Domingo, Wyatt Russell, Eva Hewson. I mean, it's supposed to hit hard. There's a lot of sci-fi movies coming out these days, and they are just not slowing. A lot of people putting the interest into space to look up instead of looking down. Especially with hard times nowadays, you want to look down, you don't want to really think about looking up, but these movies are telling you to do the opposite of what you feel. We also talked Friday about a new Nepo Baby reality TV show that's coming out called Kielbasa Confidential. Still dropping this weekend, this weekend. The Kielbasa Confidential on Netflix follows the kids of celebrities like Scottie Pippen, Offset, and Cardi B's daughter, Jodie Woods, and others trying to forge their own paths from their parents' mansion. Rich kids from Kielbasa trying to prove they're not just coasting on their parents' names on a reality show their parents probably helped them get. The irony is completely lost, but I respect it. It's funny. I can make it on my own, Ma. Can I have a couple $1 million to start a TV show? Oh, man. But it's supposed to be really funny. It's supposed to be really good. I suggest you to go watch it. If you want to see a reality show. I'm not a big reality show guy anymore. I used to watch like Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne and Jersey Shore, Real World, Survival, Big Brother. But those dramas, or even like America's Got Talent, I don't think I watched. I know we all watched American Idol, the first one with Kelly Clarkson. We all watched that. But I don't remember like American Idol being in the household, like needing to white knuckle watch it the first season too. I do remember we were white knuckling it during season 1, but season 2 I don't think it was. But it was in the household. Like we would put it on if it was on. I might be wrong. And now I'm trying to think about it. Like I do remember when Fantasia and what's his face, the bigger guy was on there. I do remember that. And I do remember the she bangs guy. And I don't think I really cared about it that much. But I've never been like really big into reality shows. But you might be. And this might be your taste. So I'd check that out if you want. If you want to take a look at it. It's on the Netflix. Talking about something to be keeping your eyes out for is the Tony Awards. That's this week. Broadway is celebrating this week in the Tony Awards, or Broadway World is calling it one of the most star-studded Broadway seasons in years. The Tonys are this Sunday coming up, June 7th. And if you care about live theater, this is their Super Bowl, pretty much. Go check it out. A lot of different stage performances, a lot of different performances all around are being showcased there, and you're able to kind of see how especially like Broadway is full of actors who went away from the big screen to follow their dreams on stage. And there's a lot of ones that have been on stage for years now that are really handing the torch down to a much more younger actor base and actress base. And seeing that's worth seeing at the Tonys this Sunday, June 7th. Lots of different stuff that's on TV and streaming, that just, at least are coming this week and that is released on the weekends. We're going to take a little bit of time to be able to talk about what has been going on this week. And I want to talk a little bit about like what's been going on with the community. So for those of you that are new to my shows and everything, this is a production that I'm putting through that is trying to build up my studio, which is Cyber Addict Studios, Cyber Addict Studio. And the idea is to start building out productions like this. And this is the beginning. And you, me, and Mr. Coffee, I hope to be able to build this into a really big talk show that makes it maybe someday, your morning show, your morning podcast broadcast, and really, see where we can go with it. I'm going to, like, mid-month be reaching out to try to get some sponsorship, so viewership is advised. So if you know anybody who would like to watch our show and be able to be part of it, not just watch our show, you could just listen to it. It's fine. You can put it in a browser, hide it away, and listen. Soon it will be put on Spotify. I just got to work out those details. It costs a bit of money. So if you want to help our projects moving forward,
I'm going to put in the chat here a link to our website. I know that the website's going to say that the funding is over and that the crowdfunding has started, but we're at the whim of the base 44 peeps and trying to get our website up and running and fixed. It's working. It's an older version of the website. The newer version hasn't been published yet. But you can go to the Support Us page and then scroll down. We are accepting donations for our efforts in fueling this vessel of Cyber Addict Studios and trying to get us in the right direction. We've got an IP that we're pushing to develop that I'm trying to get people in and get some jobs built out of it. We also have this show, You, Me, and Mr. Coffee. We have our gaming variety show that's on Wednesdays and our gaming show that's on Saturdays that is just filling in the slots. But we're trying our best to try to bring you some content and entertainment. So if you want to be a part of that and you want to at least help that along the way, head to that website and go to the Support Us page. The way the website will look, hopefully today, I keep saying maybe today, keep your ear on the ground, but hopefully today, what it'll look like is the homepage will be this nice graphic that opens up once you click it, and you'll be able to make a profile and get to enjoy a whole member area that I've been designing for the past couple of weeks. And the member area is designed to integrate the community currently that's coming in and the community that's sitting in Discord, so that you can enjoy communicating with other people of the content that you're ingesting every day and making that connection with a wider audience. And not to mention getting to be able to see how we're progressing with our Outer Exodus project, and also the development of You, Me, and Mr. Coffee. You'll be also seeing some exclusives of You, Me, and Mr. Coffee that you didn't get to see during the live show that you'll be able to see after the show. Some of the designing that's going on, I'll be filming some of that as well. So as I'm going through the process of creating my overlays and changing up what you see around here and updating it for the shows, and be able to also see, I'll be doing a behind the scenes of You, Me, and Mr. Coffee that will only be viewable on the website. This is something that I'm planning for July. And you'll be able to sit there with me and talk with me as we're researching stuff for the show, for whether it's during the weekend for Monday or it's during the week for Friday. You get to sit there and we'll kind of design the show together and enjoy that. But if you don't want to know spoilers, you don't want to, you don't want to ruin your take on the show whenever you see it live, that's all right. You can come to see us live Mondays and Fridays, 6 a.m. on Pacific and 9 a.m. on the East Coast, and we run the 3 hours so we can enjoy that good few cups of coffee as we're starting our day in the work week and starting our day trying to end the work week, coast to coast. And if you have any suggestions on what you would like to see with inside of our community, don't hesitate to reach out. Especially inside of these shows, definitely reach out and put it in the comments down below. And the new member area will have a suggestion space in your own profile where you can submit feedback of everything that we're doing with inside of Cyber Addict Studios and all that you're ingesting in content.
if you'd like to see more of something, if you'd like to see less of something, if you'd like to see something new, something that you have a great idea that could be great. Maybe you are a talent yourself and looking to be a part of the program. I'd be happy to hear you out in the feedback that will be in your little member bubble on the website. Hopefully we get to release it today. I have a lot going on today personally. I'm meeting with a VA individual today. I'm having a soon. I have to as I'm going to go get a refresh my cup of coffee, I've got to reach out to my dentist office and say, "Excuse me, I can't make it today. I'm gonna have to reschedule." I don't want to reschedule them. My teeth are doing good. I did a really good cleaning a couple of weeks ago, but now they want to do another cleaning pretty soon because apparently I got a big gap down here. My teeth are kind of crooked down at the bottom. You've noticed. I know you've noticed. But my teeth are kind of crooked at the bottom, and they found a pretty big gap there. So they're like, I want you to come back so we can take a look at that when the actual dentist from the dentistry is in office. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to pass on that today because I have a lot more important things to do, especially keep on plugging away at the website, but also trying to get our Discord community engaged. It's kind of went a little flat this past week, so we're going to try to focus on them and get them engaged and talk to them and use that time to do that. Also dealing with some business-oriented things, trying to get in contact with a couple people, a couple investors. So there's a busy day in front of me. There's also an event this afternoon that I kind of want to hop in on. It's over in Santa Monica. There's actually a few events going on today. They're light events. They're not really heavy because it's the beginning of the work week. But, it is something in my idea space that I have been mulling over whether I want to do or not. And then I do want to try to fit in getting over to my storage today. That's a big thing. I need to get in there and I need to check to see, what's what. I really need to pick a day to go in and inventory everything that I have in my storages. I got a couple of them and they're expensive. And if I can go in there and inventory and then figure out how to whittle it down to just at least one storage, but it's an undertaking to do by yourself. I have to have help. I need help to do that. And no, I'm not asking for people to help me right away on that one. It does sound like that the office is starting to bustle a bit, so I'm going to need to be a little bit more mellow in the talk. Hopefully it's not too monotone, but I don't want to bother because, like I've said before, my office is like an office space. It's not meant to be studio. That's why I really want to try to get this funding off the ground so that we can kind of move into a studio and out of my office. But this is meant for quiet work in the space. We're gonna go ahead and jump into sports, music, and more. If you're into sports, this is the time to be really digging in. So, the Knicks versus the Spurs, it's official. Talking about the NBA Finals. Versus, the New York Knicks versus the San Antonio Spurs. They're in the 2026 Finals. The Spurs are favored behind Victor. I can't really remember how to say his name, and they say it all the time, but it's Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama. I think that's how you say his name. The Knicks are riding a winning streak behind Jalen Brunson. But New York hasn't won a title since 1973, so this will be interesting if they pull out the win here, especially in the finals. This is the most compelling finals matchup in years, and a lot of people are talking about it. It's all over the social media waves, all over the airwaves. A lot of people are talking about this. New York City hasn't won an NBA championship in 53 years. Could this be it? Can they beat the Spurs, who are favored? In music, we talked about Ariana Grande, Ariana's Grande's song that dropped. I mean, she's been quieter since Eternal Sunshine, so it was a big deal for the fan base for her to produce something. Honestly, ever since with the scandal or the issues that she was having with her co-star for Wicked, this was like a breath of fresh air. Like, this was much needed for Ariana. We did talk about last Friday Drake dropping 3 albums a couple weeks ago and just being one of the biggest shock hits coming out there with barely anybody talking about it, and all of a sudden, poof. Now, is like that rollout strategy going to be like got legs, or are we going to see more of that kind of like rollout coming from these artists? I mean, Ariana Grande does it, Drake does it. Is everybody going to just drop random stuff? Especially like Beyonce dropping Act 3. People are convinced that Act 3 is imminent. And a lot of people are calling for the trilogy to be complete. Some new music to capture your attention, but no pun and no jokes intended here. But Caitlin Butts with "Never Really Mine" just hit out there. She's a Tulsa-born artist, and she's given a genuine breakout year for country music. I'm not sure if she's going to be at the CMA. But if you're into artists doing real raw country, not pop country, she's worth listening. She's like real country music, having, and with real country music having a renaissance at the moment. I think it's worth listening to. Artists who actually have something to say are finding their audience, and Caitlin Butts is one of them. Go ahead and check her out. She's on all of the platforms. She's one to be listening to if you aren't already listening to them.
If you're new to the channel, if you just arrived and you're just taking a look at my channel, I've actually been going 2 hours straight. I haven't taken a break. We've been talking about a lot of topics. Some of the topics that we've been talking about is from the space industry. You know, just to recap what we've been talking about so far is space industry with Blue Origin's aftermath, shaking up the industry of space and, you know, SpaceX. And, you know, we get to talking about a little bit of what the commercialism, you know, aspect is doing to the space industry. And is that the reason why Blue Origin blew up their New Glenn? Because they were just trying to match SpaceX? I mean, it's a real humdinger. But, you know, with us moving to the moon and making efforts to go to the moon, what's to stop a commercial company from making a bit risky decisions with their builds? And those builds causing long-term effects when it comes to being able to launch further into missions on those launch pads. That, you know, because it takes over a year to even repair it, and it takes sometimes even a year to go through the safety checks to make sure that it's good. They don't build those things to just hold things up. They're built to take a brunt and a blow, but not that big one. Just checking chat real quick. Well, that's cool. Just try to have a good day with that. I hope the realtor business is going good. I don't know where Grandview is, but it's probably a good town. But yeah. But the other things that we were talking about was, you know, a little hot take on, you know, our movement into space. Honeywell and their splitting of the company. Caesars talking about that. Nicolas Cage in their noir with Spider-Man Noir. And the amazingness that is that you need to go watch. Morgan Freeman's birthday with Amy Schumer. But Morgan Freeman turned 89. Amy Schumer is now 42. The CMAs, FIFA, Backrooms, a 20-year-old director making huge amounts of money for A24. Michael Jackson's biopic, grossing $800 million. The Bears' final season in Hulu, and House of Dragons coming back with season 3, dropping on the June 22nd. On Max. If you're a fan of Larry David, he's got a lineup in June and includes a new Larry David comedy series. No major details yet, but Larry David with HBO backing is an automatic watch. With Curb Your Enthusiasm ended, but the man clearly had more to say. Larry David is 78 years old and still making HBO give him a show. Somehow, he gets funnier every decade. Believe it or not. The audacity of this man is inspiring, for sure. But Larry David making a new comedy show on HBO. Watch it on Max. We also talked about Scary Movie 6. Nostalgia coming back. Did anybody really want to see scary movie come back, especially when the later films did not do so well. Heck, we even had a little glimpse of our one of our most lovable comedians that did, Naked Gun and so forth. Do his spiel on the scary movie series, but really was one of those shows that I don't even know that it made that many versions. I didn't even know there was a 6 coming out, that it was actually 6. I didn't even know there was 4 others. I knew about the first one and the second one, but I didn't know there was like a third and fourth one, let alone a 5th one. But now a 6. Disclosure Day coming out on the 11th. Huge sci-fi film that's going to be great to watch, and really a take up from Spielberg, who is 79 years old and producing films still. Kielbasa Confidential, talking about those Nepo Babies reality TV show. We talked about that a little bit, and then we also went into the Tony Awards. We also talked about the NBA Finals with the Knicks and the Spurs. And then we finally got to the point of talking about some music with Ariana Grande and Drake doing this real quick drop out of nowhere. And is that going to be a new industry standard with the hip hop? And is Beyonce going to do the same thing with maybe Act 3, with the internet buzz going out there from most of their audience members, especially Beyonce's audience? Fans are just going, they're going to drop Act 3 anytime. Is that going to be true? Is that what's going to happen? Well, our eyes are on the horizon. Our ears are plugged into our earphones and waiting. And then I also talked about Caitlin Butts, whose new music is making big waves with traditional country music, with raw country instead of it not being all about that hip hop. But here's my question on that. There's a lot of stars out there that started that traditional country way, that ended up just falling into the grind of the pop culture. Maybe we'll watch her prove the world wrong and go against the grain and stick with a traditional country music direction. I'd like to talk about MLB because I'm a big baseball fan. I don't get to watch a lot of it these days, but I am a huge fan of some AAA series ball. My Columbus Clippers. Gotta love them. But June 1st means baseball is in full summer mode. MLB series to watch this week showcase the league's top pitching matchups. College baseball also has the Men's College World Series bracket underway right now, so it's really good to see the competition, really thriving, really a lot of stakes. So we're going to see some intense ball being played during this summer. It's going to be worth the watch. I'm going to be catching a few things. I usually get the highlights, unfortunately, these days. I only get to grasp the highlights. I don't get to actually go to a ball game. My last ball game was at the Angels Stadium with my sons and their mother. And that was some years ago. But I think it was back in 2019. Because they have had a Japanese a player there, and we wanted to go see, and we got some tickets through the VA, so that was really good. That was my last time at a ballpark. I would love to go back to a ballpark, see some really nice, maybe see the Angels again. The Angels is worth watching, but my team is definitely the Indians. So I definitely would like to see that. But, June is a really good month to start into it. If you've never watched baseball or you never really got into it, it's a good watch. Good watch the highlights at least. See who scores.
See who makes big waves? Oh, I stopped the music. Oh no. I need to get better earbuds. That's for sure. These earbuds are not it, and I can't hit that button again because something else will play. So, give me a second. Let me bring the music back. There we go. But yeah, I suggest people, if you're trying to get something to watch and you want something to kind of watch in the foreground, and you like sports and you don't really want to have to pay attention to the sport all the time, watch Major League Baseball, watch college ball, because even if you're sitting there and you're plugging away on your computer and then all of a sudden you hear a roar of a crowd, you look over, you get a highlight right after that, and you can catch what you missed. That in slow motion, even where everybody missed what happened, but now you get to see it in slow motion. It's worth the watch on TV, that's for sure. But if you can this summer, go take your family out to the ballpark. Go catch a game. It's definitely one of America's best pastimes. One of the greatest times to just sit there in the bleachers with your family, have some peanuts, do the wave, enjoy a hot dog or two, and beer. I highly, highly suggest it. I've been thinking about how I want to do this. How I want to do the backdrop behind me, because it's literally just a blank canvas back here, right? And one of the ideas that I have going on is I want to get like a panel that I have like nodes that will stick to the wall, and then like I can have one for you, me, and Mr. Coffee, and then I have a panel that I can pop up there for Gaming with XO and so forth, you know, like just show like different backgrounds for myself. Also have one that's back there so that I can turn around and do a whiteboard whenever I'm working. I think that would be kind of cool, and then I can tuck behind my little makeshift closet here that I keep all my business clothes in, and also toss my gym bag whenever I get back from the gym. You know, I've been working on this cup of coffee this whole entire time, but it's still pretty strong. I went a little strong with this coffee. But I definitely kind of now regret not going for, like, trying to suck it down and going for another cup. So I kind of went through my content a little fast today. I ran out of topics, but so I've kind of reached out to generate some content and came up with some pretty cool stuff. Like my my quick research to check this out. So we got about a little bit of a bonus round of different things that we can check out. Marilyn Monroe would be 100 years old today. Marilyn Monroe's birthday, June 1st. Talking about birthdays, she would be 100 today if she was still alive. There's a possibility of a lot of tribute that's going to be in her direction, Marilyn Monroe at 100. I'm sure I'll probably do this. I'll go out there, out in front of my office is the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And I guarantee you today, Marilyn Monroe's star is going to be painted up with a bunch of flowers and so forth like that. Especially to celebrate her 100 years of like potential life, but she never had. But she's a legend. 100 years today she would be. That's crazy. Marilyn Monroe died at 36. And she has been a cultural icon for over 64 years. There's no one alive today who will remember the way she's remembered. And that's a rare kind of immortality. And I grew up knowing Marilyn Monroe. The Scandal with the President. Her movies. I've watched a lot of her movies. She's a great actress. She was a great actress. And she was a big icon on the scene. She pretty much wiped the floor of anybody who was famous at the time. Marilyn Monroe came around. Oh, her beauty, her gore, her pizzazz just really almost sounded like Christopher Walken for her pizzazz is kind of but anyways, Marilyn Monroe was the talk of the town. The eyes were always peeled onto her. 100 years old. Man. Speaking of like AIs helping out in certain circumstances, way to go, my AI researcher, to put this into my mix. If you don't know, a lot of the times if I'm stuck and I can't think of something to add to my show, when I'm doing research, I always use my AI Claire to kind of help me out. She's my copywriter, my ghostwriter kind of deal. And so it's really great. And I say she loosely because of the name. But yeah, Claire, my AI kind of helps out and put in there sneakily about AI clones. That's pretty funny. AI clones are coming to Hollywood. And actors are scared. I don't know about how many actors are scared. I don't think actors are really scared, to be honest. SXSW, London, today, Downton Abbey's Hugh Bonneville addressed rumors about celebrity traders. And the bigger conversation was AI clones of actors being used in productions without consent. And that's a huge thing, actually. A lot of even the Corridor Project or the Corridor Studio, they even made a comment about that in one of their videos that they did. And is it right? Like with Star Wars doing, what was the actor? But that Admiral, Long Dead, they had an actor play as a body double and then they put, superimposed his face over top of it. I mean, is that really okay? Is it really okay to put AI imaging over without consent, without needing consent? And the UK is right now trying to scramble to regulate it. And Hollywood isn't far behind. Imagine turning on a show and seeing an AI version of an actor you haven't of an AI version of an actor who didn't agree to be in it. Imagine if it was like Johnny Depp or
Who's another one? Hugh Jackman. Or maybe if we ever lose any of the greatest, I don't want to say their name, but any of the greatest that you know, if we lose them tomorrow and then all of a sudden they're young versions of themselves are ending up in movies, is that something really... Is that something that we should be like anticipating, or should that be something that we should be telling Hollywood and other film studios to back off? Try not to get into that. For me, AI really does help with a bunch of different things, but the one thing that AI does not provide is the human element. You find it in everything you do, even with this research. I had to throw my own spin on it. But AI is making its way into a lot of the industry. It helps me out in doing what I'm trying to do, especially in concept work. But for me and for Cyber Studio, the intent is always to have the finished product in front of you from a human. 100%. I'm not going to put an AI in front of you to entertain you. Nope. I'm not playing your babysitter. We're here together, enjoying the content together. Not gonna put a person in front, like an AI figure. Not gonna be happening here. But AI is also destroying the UK music tech industry. A new report out today says UK music tech companies are facing a growth investment crisis, and AI is raising the stakes so fast, that the government needs to act now. The music industry created AI tools to help artists, and now those same tools are eating the industry alive. The music industry invented the gun that's pointing at itself. Every creative industry is about to have this exact same conversation, and I'm already having that with myself. In the year that I took to understand AI and its development and how it's implemented and used, and how I'm going to use it as a tool and maintain it as a tool. Like I said, I'm not going to have it right in front of you. I'm not going to put an AI, talk show host in front of you to do my You, Me, and Mr. Coffee so I can take a break and sip on my own coffee without having to worry about it. I'm never going to do that. And I'm real. Trust me, you can meet me. Don't meet me, but you can... If you wanted to meet me, you could meet me, but no. That's kind of creepy. Don't find me out there on the street and then just like, oh hey, I saw you on You, Me, Mr. Coffee. I'll blush. I'll blush. I might like it a little too much. Okay. If you find me out on the street and you say, hey, I know you, I might go, aren't you such and such? And it wouldn't be my name, and I'd be like, ugh. No, I have that face. I know. So many people said when I was growing up, you look like a Kyle. I'm like, no, I'm definitely not a Kyle. But like, what is your take? What is your guys' take on AI being used in the industry independently? Like, not just using it as a tool, but actually using it as a talent? Like an artist? I mean, development and getting people engaged and using the menial tasks, I can understand. But whenever you're putting out a full-on production and putting characters into a thing, and you completely ruin that by not having the human element, my hot take on that, and what I'm not going to do with my own studio, is I think it needs to stay away. Just be used as a tool. And if you're not responsible enough as a studio to put out content with the human element to it as a finished product, you're causing the industry to go in places where it needs to be regulated. And right now we need the least amount of regulation in a creative space. That's why it's creative. You don't want to have regulations, but we can all have like this mental picture of where things can go wrong if we just rely on the dollar. to fuel our creative intentions. It's not here, definitely not with Cyber Addict Studios. So keep following us. Make sure you go to that website, check it out. Keep looking back at it. The website will update soon. Make a profile whenever that comes around, and enjoy ingesting the community that we're going to be building together, as well as the IPs that we're building together. The show here, you, me, and Mr. Coffee, building it up to what potential that it possibly has, and other things that we get into. Like, remember, I was talking about in July and into August doing the Smoke Pit, a veteran show, talking about veteran views, and having pretty much the same kind of conversation that you get here from you, me, and Mr. Coffee, but more veteran focused, with some veteran stars, hopefully. I'm hoping to get some pretty decent veteran viewage. So that's another driving force that's going to be coming around late July into early August. You, Me, and Mr. Coffee will be showing on July 3rd. Want to put that into your guys' memory and on your calendars. And we will be talking about the 250th anniversary of our great nation. I'll be talking, just like I did about Memorial Day, we'll be talking a lot more about the pride and patriotism of our country and how we enjoy it. How I enjoy it and how I love it, and how I loved my career in the military, and how I'm celebrating it. And we may be remote for that. And I am kind of giddy about how that's going to be accomplished. And hopefully we can be able to accomplish it and be at a site where we do a You, Me, and Mr. Coffee in the morning, and then we could do a show in the evening that will be not just drinking coffee, but probably celebration with some champagne, as we're seeing some fireworks going off in the background. But that is still in the works. Keep your eyes peeled for that. But if you don't know, Los Angeles is crazy when it comes to July 4th, and it being the 250th year of our great nation. I'm imagining it's going to sound like a war zone of fireworks throughout the entirety of Los Angeles County. And I want to have the best seat, and I'm still looking for where that could be. It's going to have good signal. We're able to kind of sit there and watch as the fireworks just peel across the land, and we get to see some celebration as we move into July 4th. So keep listening. Keep an eye out for it. We're definitely going to be posting a lot of information on our website about that. Another thing to talk about that was brought to my attention was Sidney Crosby sparked a hockey controversy with one locker room comment. A single remark by Sidney Crosby, if you're interested in hockey, in the Team Canada locker room, because we did speak about last Friday about Canada versus what was it? Montreal versus I haven't been able to watch hockey. I love hockey, by the way. I really do. It's that Ohio in me for sure. What was it? Let me see if I got I'm gonna look at my notes from last show. Versus the Hurricanes. All right. So
You know, with Canada going against the Hurricanes at the locker room, World Championship sparked one of the biggest hockey debates of the year. The details are wild, and it shows how even the most respected player can accidentally light the internet on fire. Crosby is considered one of the classiest players in hockey history. One locker room comment and the whole internet loses it. Welcome to 2026. Well, we're going to dive in that subject. This is what usually happens if I'm stuck. Claire will give me that kind of subject, get me interested, and I go and research it. So, Crosby's comment. Sidney Crosby's comment. I'm looking it up to see what he actually said. Let's actually listen. I'm gonna stop the music for a second. Forgive. We're gonna stop that for a second. I'm gonna mute the desktop sound, and I'm gonna give this a quick listen. See if this is what we're trying to listen for. So I guess it's about getting his first goal at an empty net that's been burning everybody. If that's kind of stuff that interests you, I would go and check it out. If you know anything about it, put it in the comments down below and we'll put a chat through for it. But yeah, it's like apparently he had a big smile, got his first goal, and it's from an empty net. But I don't think that's... Is that what? Yeah, there's comments here saying it was a vulgar locker room outburst at the World Sydney's. At the World Sydney. At the World Series. I'm trying to look it up and see what's actually been like. What was the comment that he made that was so controversial? Oh, so according to Times of India, they reported that he said, "You know they're effing terrible," which could be heard saying during the games against Slovakia. But this is the internet buzz. So, according to Hockey Feed, last week, Pittsburgh Penguin captain Sidney Crosby was caught in an awkward moment when a viral clip circulated that appeared to show him disrespecting the Slovakians at the International Ice Hockey Federation's World Championship of Hockey. Out of context clip ignites controversy. So apparently what has happened is somebody took out of context something he said and it blew up, is what's being reported. And they never felt any more disrespected. It was like, you know, they're effing terrible, is what the comment was. Oh yeah, so yeah, I just heard it. I won't actually make the audio loud or hearable if you heard from my earbuds a little bit, but yeah, I really do think it's just venting frustration. I think the person was just venting frustration. We don't, mean in entirety. And it definitely sounds like it's taken out of context for sure. That's my take on it. If you want to go and check it out for yourself and create your own opinion over the matter, I suggest you highly do that if you're into hockey and that you're really wanted to, dive deep in it just like I did. I went surface level. I didn't go too deep. Checked a couple of reporting spaces that it had over it. But all in all, doesn't really look like Sidney Crosby was really trying to be evil and intentive. I'm sure that it sparked a lot of, attention towards the Slovakian team, but I think Crosby was just being frustrated in the moment and just, when you're also in a competitive mindset, you got to look at your competition and not so great of a light. You're not going to be looking at them like they're your best buds. You're in competition. So I think that's where it was taken out of context. It's just trying to bolster everybody. They're terrible. Let's just get this through. Let's just work this through. Just trying to bolster your team up a little bit. You're not going to be sitting there going, hey guys, they're amazing. They're great. They're better than us. You get what I'm saying? There's locker room comments that shouldn't be taken out of context and thrown up in full light and ignited on fire. But if you feel different, put down in the comments down below how you felt about it. See if that drives any wildfires on its own. Ooh. Now, this is really cool. Since Claire knows a lot of my personality and what I like and enjoy and builds this show off of that, helps me at least build the show off of it. She gave me a prompt here. Scientists created a crystal that's metal and glass simultaneously. Hey, we've been actually looking for stuff like that. Hello, for space travel. So we can have the ability to look out of our front window. Science Daily dropped today. Researchers created a crystal called Molly. I forget how to do the BD. I think it's Molly Dunham. Molybdenum oxychloride that behaves like metal and glass at the same time. This could be foundational for next generation electronics and futuristic materials. Like I said, space travel stuff. Glass. Look out. Censoring. That's the biggest thing in deep space. Creating something that can go outside of our void with imagery needs a metal container. And if it's a crystal container that acts like a metal that you can look through, sensors that can be able to pass through that and be able to get ratings, we'll be able to have highly insulated spacecrafts that can
go beyond Voyager and be able to still respond back to us decades down the road, almost an entire century down the road. So that's intense. We are genuinely living in the future. And today, it's surprising. I've grown up through technology being on a rapid pace. Millennials have just lived through the rapid creation of technology, and those before us, Gen X, has seen like the beginnings develop into this rapid development. It's intense. That's crazy. That's awesome. At the same time. I mean, to think that even whenever I graduated high school 20 years ago, that was science fiction. Warp drives being plausible and metal glass being plausible. And actually seeing proofs of that being plausible and buildable and researchable. That's insane. And we can't say enough about, I'm going to keep pushing it out there, that Kane Parsons is a director to be looking out for when looking for like horror films, and I think just in the genre of his backdoor or backrooms, not backdoor, backrooms franchise. It's amazing what he's done. I mean, he literally, from film school to assistantship, years of short films, and then getting all the way to A24 and getting an opportunity of, here you go, here's 10 million, make me hundreds of millions. And he answered. And 20 years old is, still pretty young. And it really shows that Gen Z does have some hard creative imagery ready for the public to watch. It's going to be huge to see what he makes out of his career for the next 30 plus years. So Obsession did come out, a horror film that just recently come out. I've wanted to put my attention towards it, but I do know that it's doing amazing and is still dominating. And that came out a few weeks ago, and is one of the most reliable genres in horror. Is one of the most reliable genres in Hollywood currently. It has been for the longest time. With Backrooms being number 1 and Obsessions being number 2, both horror, same weekend. We've been like in a horror, a May of horror into June. These are really great movies to watch, and I highly suggest it. But like, what do you guys think about this AI tools, being turned into, instead of staying as a tool, but being used as talent, being used in the talent space? Is that something that we should be seeing, or should we maintain seeing a live actor, live artist, a live talent, instead of seeing some AI? When it comes to animation, there's a good question. It's an animated character. Does it deserve
a human actor behind it speaking the voice? Does the artist need to put their hands to it, or having AI being able to build scene to scene to scene be worthy of sale? There's a lot of laws that are currently in place to prevent such things from being commercial or in commercial use. So what kind of bridged gaps are we seeing here that are, having to deal with AI? And I know that, here's one thing that I'd like to kind of like, I don't know, end the show on. We're in the final 15 minutes of our show. And we've been talking about a lot of different subjects ranging from space and industry of space to the film industry and going into sports, big business moves. But one of the things that like I have a question for you and kind of to think about moving forward in your life is, if you could follow an old dream of yours, would you? Would you risk it if you had the opportunity? Would you risk it? Would you, if you could change everything? Maybe you're retired. Maybe you just ended your long, careered trek through whatever industry that you were in. You just retired. You got nothing else that you're doing. You've gotten bored of retirement already. You're not trying to blow through your money, and now you're realizing that that retirement pay is not really actually paying out in this economy. That going through a new career is an option. Would you do it? Or would you knuckle down and just kind of coast for the rest of your life? Or would you go and try out something that was a passion of yours back in the day? I've seen family members who are taking hobbies a lot more serious these days, like building weapons for competition shooting. I got a couple of friends that are getting into art themselves and developing three-dimensional art online and then using 3D printers to bring that art to life and then making a business out of it. One of the things that my ex-partner and I got into was she is a heck of an artist. I mean, I know that we didn't end things well, but she's a heck of an artist. Brilliant artist. And she did really great artwork on nails, the acrylic press-on nails. And she made a great business out of it. I helped by taking it and mailing it, but she did all the hard work. And she made a successful business out of it. And something like a passion of hers where she was into cosmetology and artistry, and she was enjoying making art on nails. Following a passion, following a dream. Myself, I was in the military. I was doing great. I had the calling of being a firefighter in the Marine Corps, and I did 12 years. It was rocky at times. Wasn't the best at times, but I tried to do the best that I could throughout my entire time in the Marine Corps. I felt like I did pretty good. And unfortunately, due to some medical issues, I had to leave. And I decided to pivot when the pandemic happened and couldn't get the safety job that I wanted to do. And I pivoted and went towards the entertainment industry, following a dream. Because before I joined the military, I tried to apply to the Art Institute in Chicago for animation. Now, when I went to the LA Film School for animation, I found out real quickly that I am not that person. I am not an animator. I do have a talent, and I can do the work of an animator, and I do know how to do VFX work, and I do know how to work with most Adobe products. But at the same time, yeah, something's up with my phone. It's got this stickiness to it. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to AT&T. But anyways, back to it. Follow the dream. And now I'm sitting in front of you. Now, mind you, while I was in the military, I was on Twitch, which we may be going back to Twitch, unfortunately, because I can't get Kick to work. And my OBS and Kick is just not breathing together, but Twitch is. So we might go back to Twitch, try to get some engagement, try to get people to come to the community that way, come to the project that way. That first showing will be on Wednesday on Twitch. So get ready for that. Unless I can get Kick to work. If I can get Kick to work, we're not going to Twitch. But we need to get on that kind of platform to get engagement. Can't keep sitting here on YouTube, and YouTube is where you have to get people to come to you. You're not found. Live shows are not found here on YouTube, so you got to bring people here. That's why I keep on telling you guys, don't just watch. Tell people about our show. Bring them here. Just like I do. I brought you guys here. Return a favor. Bring more people. What is it? Pay it forward? But like, would you do it? Would you take the effort to go and pursue a dream that you had back in the day? If an opportunity arose and you could be able to follow an old dream of yours and really get to explore that dream in its entirety, would you do it? Would you take that risk? Because I'm going to tell you what, it's been a journey. It's been hard. It's been probably one of the biggest challenges I've had in my entire life, and that's saying a lot. I wouldn't say it's on the top 10 of challenges in my life, because I was in the military and I was at war, and Afghanistan was a challenge in itself. And even then, my career as a firefighter and the challenges involved with every emergency definitely overshadow everything that I'm doing today. But with that aside, on its own category, this is pretty challenging. It's a struggle to do this, and I'm learning a lot along the way, especially of how I can bring content to you guys and how you can enjoy it every day. And I'm hoping you guys are enjoying this. Especially, like, reach out. Say in the comments down below, or tell me inside the channel how I'm doing during the live shows. If you'd like to see it in a different way. If you'd like for me to engage in a different way. If you wanted me to, like, put a react section where we look at a couple of videos during our show. It's meant to be more of a, us standing, sitting around a cooler, drinking coffee, having our last sips. For some of you, the last sips of the morning. For the rest of you, we're midway through our morning here on the Pacific side, here in PST, in good old California. We are having our day start, and trying to get this work week started. So hopefully with you guys coming in and enjoying the ride in and listening to our show, I'm hoping you guys are going to enjoy it. But if you're tuning into our show now, with it not being live, or so you've tuned into our show and it's now going to be in your noon, I hope you enjoyed everything up to this part of the show. And if you think that there should be something different, please put down in the comments down below. Make sure you do like and subscribe. bring people here, have them like and subscribe. It will help our algorithm and help us get out there, get our show out there, get it seen. I'm really hoping for that as well. It's all going to be all raw, nothing truly cut up that's going to be on YouTube. All the cut up stuff is going to be seen in our website coming into the middle of the month, whenever I can actually get around to cutting up some of this video, and you can get some of the scenes a little bit more quicker, especially some of our topics and spaces and gaps where I have to like catch my breath and like swallow some drink of coffee to be able to get a couple more sentences out. I've definitely appreciated building this content for you guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's show. It is the 1st of June. It is the start of summer. I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your summer. I know I am going to see a huge adventure before me starting today, and I want to take you guys along with me. Make sure you go to our website. Stand by. The member area is going to be coming. I know I'm late on it, but at the same time, technical difficulties. These are bound to happen when you're doing everything by yourself. But if you would like to help out and make sure that, you know, these kind of technical difficulties aren't going to come in the future, help support the project. If you know somebody who's an investor, have them reach out to me. I would love to hear them, how they want to be a part of the project. If it's not just being part of the studio, being part of some of the things that I'm doing, like here with You, Me, and Mr. Coffee, and some of the shows that I want to build in the future. If they could be interested, have them reach out to me as well. I'm trying to do my best to sift through who I want to talk to here around the industry to invest in our show, but at the same time, the true people I want to have invest in our show that I'm giving back in return is you, my audience, my community, and my friends. So with that, we got about 5 minutes left. I'm gonna go ahead and let those 5 minutes run. I've got to get set up for the rest of my day. I gotta get a phone call going. I gotta somehow call my dentistry and be like, hey, I can't show up at noon. I got this obligation. Wish me luck also with this VA stuff. I definitely hope that I do hope that this conversation goes well with them. And yeah, it's gonna be a long week this week, but I hope it's a good week this week for you. Come back to us on Friday. Tell us all about it. Let us know how your week was. And let's enjoy a good show where we get to melt away some of the time left on Friday to push all the way to the weekend. If you like the show, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Without further ado, I am Zylerona. And this is You, Me, and Mr. Coffee, and I appreciate you being here. Take it easy and have a great work week.